Let's go! If we could address you directly right now.
Everything comes full circle.
That's number one.
I don't tell him what questions to ask me.
There are a lot of people around town that have the same question.
Brush my teeth. I'm a good wash in the morning.
I can't confirm or deny.
You know, just keep going a little bit longer here, Mike. You keep going a little bit longer.
You know what I love, Steve? Being a jerk.
Listen, dude, we've been doing a show for 90 minutes.
If I had a chance to listen to the last call, we game plan for PJ Hall.
Uncle.
I have a list of guys I would never hang out with. Your name is right on the top.
Do you like the worst song bracket we're doing?
It's considerably better than the supplement bracket. Let's start with that.
I won a limbo contest.
Oh, my God.
Fran Brown joining us.
These guys are working their butts off. They expect to see their fans.
You want extra money just because you're North Carolina? I'm in all right
What
now.
an honor for you and Jordan to be next to me.
Every day.
This is Orange Nation.
There's music, there's fun, there's us. It's everything you could want all in one place.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte. We welcome you into a Friday edition of Orange Nation. A couple of guests lined up for you, both student athletes up at Syracuse. Nick Kakamo, senior defenseman for the SU men's lacrosse team, will join us at 12:30. And then Tatum White, a fifth-year forward for the SU women's hockey team. She will be on with us at 1:30. The Orange getting set to host a playoff game at the Tennessee Ice Pavilion tomorrow. We'll tell you all about it. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. What's up? How are you today, Paulie?
I'm doing good, Steve. Our friend Mike Waters has a segment on Syracuse.com called Mike's Mailbag.
Yeah.
And he was asked about the disparity in Syracuse's NIL compared to others. And you know, my mom and dad used to say something on to me regularly. Money doesn't grow on trees.
I think we all got that speech, right?
Syracuse is in a world of hurt if what he's saying is true, even with this $20 million floor that the NCAA is putting in for all schools that they can spend on their... Because every school in the SEC and Big Ten is going to do that. They're going to spend the $20 million.
Right.
And they'll probably spend it on football and basketball. And then they have the donors that can cover all the other sports. It's some of the numbers are jarring. He says that Washington supposedly signed a 6'8" transfer from Utah State for $2 million.
Yeah.
From the rumors I've heard, and my sources tell me, that player alone would be the only player on Syracuse's team if that's what they had to pay him.
Right.
They'd have one guy.
Right.
The other one is that Kadari Richmond, he says, makes $1.2 million as a fifth-year senior.
Right. And Syracuse could not come close to that.
They would have, if you went with who they have right now, they would have two guys on the floor.
Right.
They're in a world of hurt if they don't figure this out.
Well, I think that's in part why yesterday was important, right, for them to come out and say we are going to, go with the max, and we're all in for the $20.5 million directly.
But everybody's doing that.
No, I know. Well, not everybody's doing it, but you have to do it to even be in the ball game.
I guarantee you, every ACC school is doing it.
Right. Well, you would think, yes. And then the $50 million on top of that, that's the goal. That's what they're hoping to achieve, and that's why I think that announcement yesterday was significant, because I think there's some question about are they serious about winning, and so that's the bare minimum you got to do, right, to be serious about winning, is you're pointing out. I was talking with Mike last night. We had him on our Orange Nation TV show, as we always do, and I think he's got a more in-depth article coming out about this, just to provide a little tease.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be jarring for people.
Yeah, and we're hoping to bring him on, and he's going to share. He was sharing some of the details with me privately, and hopefully we could do that in a public forum next week. But it is eye-opening. and some of the stuff that he found out. And
we've been kind of guessing at it, and it may be even a little worse. But like everybody that has come at us for being homers for saying that NIL was the problem, it's probably 98% of the problem.
it's a big factor. I mean, I don't want to put a percentage on it. But okay.
I will put an exact number on it. Now, did they make, like I was just discussing with the Ton and Devo, did they maybe spend, like in today's game with the roster you have, was the center the position you should have? Probably not.
Right.
You probably should have gone with your bulk of your money towards a guard or a scorer that could put the ball on the floor.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, that kind of goes back to what I said about, I think this offseason, I think that has to be the top priority. A point guard who could score and get by his guy and defend and everything.
But you know what is worrying me is this $20 million that everybody's getting is going to drive the prices up right. on everybody. Yeah. Quarterbacks, point guards, wide receivers, right. Women's basketball forwards. It's
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the student athletes are making out awfully well with this deal. No doubt about it, that it's just going to drive up the prices.
Unless Syracuse, in some fashion in the next couple of years, graduates somebody who opens a $1 billion company, like Tyson Chicken, I'd like to use that example, or FedEx, for that matter. They're in a world of hurt.
The inventor of the Scrub Daddy is an SU grad.
Okay, that should get you a scrub daddy to play point guard. You literally get a player named after his product. Hey, Scrub Daddy's coming into the game. It's going to be interesting. Michelangelo says, or a crypto investment. Okay, that's great. They put all their NIL money in crypto and it crashes, and then they've got nobody. They can't pay their players. That's genius.
It's different times. I mean, there's no doubt about that. What were you going to say? Sorry.
It's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be years where Syracuse can pop, right? Where they could have hey, we've got this one guy. We need all of our donors to go all in on this guy. We've got Carmelo Anthony coming.
Yeah,
you know, and you can do it. But can you keep going back every year to do that? I don't know.
So that was kind of what I was saying yesterday about if there was ever a time to go for it, it's next year, right?
Yeah, but does that fix it? Because then all you do is you put a Band-Aid over the problem, and then next year you're stink again.
Again, I think by going for it, as I was pointing out yesterday, I think that you find out if it can work. Like, is it worth it to go for it? And then the donors can assess whether or not it's worth it or not. But if you put all your eggs in, I'm not saying all your eggs into basketball. Obviously, football is important, and they've got this thing moving as well. But I'm saying if you can, if you put some extra resources into basketball and you put the roster on the floor that you think is going to be competitive, and then you see what that looks like, I think if there's ever a year to do that, next year is the year to do that. Because you don't want this thing to get away from you. You don't want to get to a point where you become insignificant, right?
Yeah, the basketball program is top 5 in revenue, and the athletic department should be there in the future model for the framework. Lembeck says, yeah, but if you can only spend a certain amount of it, you can only spend a certain amount of it, and the rest of it has to come from donors.
Yeah,
and they still have to pay for travel. It's not free. The lights in the dome, you have to turn the lights on in the dome. You have to pay all the people in the dome that are working. There's a lot that goes into this. Got to get a new floor every once in a while. Locker room stinks. Got to get fumigated. There's so many things that happen that people don't know goes on with that money also.
Sure, but I mean, people don't want to hear about that. They want you to go out and get the players. And I guess my point is if they're serious about basketball, and you referred to what Louisville's got and what Kadar Richmond's getting, and I mean, go ahead.
Well, Louisville was 4.5,
right?
And that's way lower than I thought.
Right, but that's still double, roughly double what you think Syracuse is working with. So, I'm not suggesting that they're going to all of a sudden be on the same level as Louisville, but if you want to compete and you want to turn this thing around bad enough, I think next year is the year to do that.
Lembeck says then you're not managing your revenue properly. They only can spend $20 million out of their own budget. It doesn't take a genius to budget that.
And how are they going to divvy that up? And
Yes.
That's obviously a big question, right? And we don't know that.
All the other money that they earn goes towards facilities, paying people, coaches. It's common sense, guys. See, we're going to have John Wildhack on hopefully next week. Somebody's got to be able to explain this to the common folk, to the layman. Because I don't even know if I'm right, but Syracuse has to do a better job of explaining what they have, what they need, and how they can do it.
Right. And if they can do it, right? I mean, I think that's a question a lot of people have right now. Is it possible to win here again at that level, given the gap that we're seeing, right, with the finances? And maybe it is, and you hope that it is, but. And of course they're going to say that it is, but we got to see what it looks like, and that's why I think football this past year was so important for football because it was a new head coach, and I think we all, me included, like I thought there was a certain plateau with the football program. I did not expect a Kyle McCord to be a viable option for Syracuse football. Now some of that might have been his personal connections with the program and with the coaches and so on and so forth. I don't know if we will see that again. But the fact that Fran Brown's in on 4- and 5-star guys on a regular basis, I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, and I wonder if the guys that ponied up for Kyle McCord could afford to pay another quarterback this year.
Right.
You don't know that.
That's a legitimate question. But again, I think last year was so important because if they went like 6-6 last year, especially with that schedule, I know we kind of say that, but if it was 6-6 or 7-5, I think people would have kind of thrown up their hands and said, this is about the best it's going to be. But I think we got a taste last year collectively in this community of, okay, well, now 12 teams make the playoffs, and they were, a few spots behind where, the playoff teams, the line was drawn. So I think all of a sudden now from a football perspective, you see that it's possible to, is it likely? It's not, it's not necessarily likely, but it is possible. And with basketball right now being where it is, I think fans need that same hope. And I think now is the time to do that for next year and to give them hope and say, all right, we delineated some extra resources to basketball, and this is what the product looks like. This is what it can be, and that might help breathe some life back into the program.
Everybody's saying Adam Weitzman again. If he wanted to donate money, guys, he could do it right now. Nobody's stopping him. If he was a true Syracuse fan, he could do it right now. All they stopped him from doing was sitting courtside with with famous people and took the spotlight off him. If he's that big of a fan, donate. No one's stopping him. He's not bigger than the university. That was the biggest problem. Here's another thing. Here is another thing. Someone says John Wildhack's going to paint a rosy picture for everybody. If he does, that's not a good business practice.
Right, I think it's going to be the opposite.
Yes.
He's going to say, we need your help.
Yes, he's got to come out and to be honest with everybody and say, this is what we need.
And I think he will. And did you watch the video yesterday that he released on their website? I mean, he kind of went through it, point by point, and they need the community's help to make this what they want it to be, what everybody wants it to be. Everybody wants a winner, right? And these days in college athletics, it takes a village to create that winner.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say my last thing on the Weitzman thing. He flew, if everybody follows this, he flew. You remember when NIL first started, Miami got in trouble.
Yeah,
for doing something.
Yep, and
he did basically the exact same thing.
Right.
And he flew too close to the sun with the NCAA violations. It had to stop. That's all it is, guys. It's not.
And sometimes people don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah. Reach out to him. Ask him. Go. He can come on here. Maybe I'm wrong and tell me differently. He's more than willing to. But why don't you guys reach out? But instead of bugging us about his money, why don't you ask him, hey, if you're such a big fan, why don't you donate?
All right. Want to take our first time out?
I'm sick of taking everybody else's bullets.
All right. Come on and speak for yourself.
Like I was like talking to I was talking to Coach Autry, and I was like, this is exhausting for me. You know, I didn't even realize. I was like, he's like, I ignore it all. And then I was like, I can't ignore it because they call me and say it right to my face. And then they blame me for stating my opinion on things.
Yeah. I liked your tweet last night that you.
By the way,
yeah,
I tweeted out last night that I had a high level meeting with all of the powerful people at Syracuse.
People thought you were serious.
Yes, a popular Syracuse blog retweeted me. I know we're late. Honestly, guys, do you think that the universe, like, there's some meeting that they call me and Steve and Mike Waters into, and they sit us all down at a table, we're in our cloaks and candlelight, and they tell us what to say? No, they don't. They don't tell us anything. I wish they told me more.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So second of all, the people that argue with us when we say we think Red is going to be back,
right,
and then say we're getting the information from the university. If we were getting the information from the university, Red is going to be back. And why are you arguing with us about it? Because we know the university told us. And my third and final point on this whole thing, we're being told what to say. Yesterday, I did a segment on foods that aren't what they sound like, and I used spotted dick as a reference.
Yes, you did.
Do you think spotted dick guy is who they're coming to get their point across? Do you know? Hey, I was listening. You know who seems like a credible guy we should have on to talk about what the true problems facing our university are? Is that guy who said grape nuts and spotted dick aren't what they actually sound like.
It's a valid point, Paulie. You have me convinced. I don't think anybody comes to you and tells you. I'm convinced of that. Thank you.
And you know who didn't help us? I'm going to get in trouble for this. Our boss. I'll shut your mic off right now. Our damn boss got us into this. Like, because now everybody thinks what we say is going to get us fired. And he did that article with Chris Carlson. Didn't help us. Thanks, boss. All right.
Are you done now?
Yeah.
315-437-7644. Again, we'll leave the phone lines open here for the next segment. We've got Nick Kakamo from the SU men's lacrosse team. He'll join us at 12:30. Tatum White from the women's hockey squad. 1:30. We are back after this on ESPN Radio.
Syracuse basketball head coach Adrian Autry joins Orange Nation every Thursday at 1. Brought to you by IBEW Local 43, Haler, Fryer and Kuhn, and Burdick BMW. ESPN.
Thank you. All right, I'm done. If I get fired for saying Ed put us in a bad position, I'm sorry if you get fired along with me.
You turned my mic off. I didn't say anything.
All right. They have medicine for spotted dick. There's some spotted dick that just comes and goes, and you can never get rid of it. The problem with this, like, stabilizing the ticket prices, do you guys know how much it costs to do a basketball game in a football facility? Like, you know how much money? Like, they may need to come up with a solution, like, for women's basketball, because it's not cheap to just do something in the dome. Oh, let me open the. Do you get uncomfortable when I say spotted dick, Steve?
I do. Yeah.
It's a food. It's a food. Spotted dick. Hey, Dominic. You ever had spotted dick, Dominic? Right in your mouth? It's delicious. I'm going to try it. If I bought in some, would you eat it?
Like, what is it?
I don't know. We'll take Chuck first. Spotted dick represents everything that is delicious in tradition in English cooking. Well, that narrows it down to nothing. Tender steamed pudding dotted with succulent currants and drizzled in a luxuriously rich, creamy vanilla crust. You're not even that. That is food porn right there. That was like the 50 Shades of Grey talking about spotted dick right there. It comes in a can. Hey, this is children's. This is a children's show.
Basketball season is here, and so are some great deals at Burdick Ford in Central Square. Burdick Ford is locally owned and operated.
No, Syracuse is going to have the $28 million. That's not the problem, but so is every other school. So it's just, you're starting at zero again. It's donors. That's where it's all coming from. Telemachus, you're not getting this.
Visit Burdick Ford today, just off exit 102 on 81 in Central Square, or at burdickford.com. Live from the Harding Mazzotti studio. Hurt your body? Call Harding Mazzotti. 1-800.
I'd like to shoot a man in Reno just to watch him die today, Steve.
1200 a.m. and 1440 a.m.
Chuck first. Chuck first.
A young cowboy named Billy Joe grew restless.
Don't take your
on the
guns to
farm.
town, Steve. Johnny Cash is our
Filled
artist
with
of the day.
wanderlust who really meant no harm.
All his songs sound very similar.
They do.
I have never more wanted to, felt at one with a song like that. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. I feel that some days.
Is today one of those days?
No, not today. Hasn't been that bad. There are days on the show where I would like to just do that. And go away forever. Put me in solitary confinement. That sounds glorious. Just me and my own takes rattling around in a
You
jail
get bored
cell.
after a while.
No way. My takes are not boring.
Let's go to the phone lines. Chuck in North Syracuse kicking us off today. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Steve. I'm confused, and maybe some of your listeners are as well. Maybe you could just enlighten people about how NIL came into effect and how the NCAA went from, being like Mother Teresa to like Al Capone and just letting things get out of hand. I mean, Jim Boeheim lost 100 victories over, I'm not even sure what, a minimal monetary contribution to somebody.
Wasn't even money.
And now it's like it's Dodge City all over, and you never hear anything from the NCAA.
Yeah. Well, it started with a lawsuit, and the NCAA got hit in their pockets where it hurts, and as a result, you're right. They went from you couldn't have a certain amount of cream cheese on your bagel, that was a violation, to all of a sudden, everything seems like it's allowed.
Now you can't even see your bagel.
Right.
It's all cream.
Now you can buy a million bagels. It doesn't matter.
It's insane.
It is insane.
It went from the universities having all the power to the players having all the power, and there needs to be a middle ground. This isn't a good product right now. Like, kids coming for a year and leaving, like if that's going to be the case.
Well, I tell you what. You mean leaving school altogether, or leaving to go to a different college?
Just going to a different college.
Okay, because I was going to say that
it's every year's free agency is not a sustainable.
Correct. I thought you meant kids come for a year and then they go pro, but the more and more money that's in this system, it's going to be more lucrative to stay.
Kadari Richmond's making probably more than a league minimum, right?
We talked about that with Jesse Edwards, that he's probably made more in that 1 year at West Virginia than he will in any year of his professional career.
And Kadari clearly would be in the NBA right now if he was good enough to be in it.
Yeah,
because he's a fifth year.
Right. Yeah, I think you're going to see more and more guys staying and just making money in college and prolonging the professional life, because they can make more in college in a lot of cases. Not in all cases. Like Cooper Flagg's going to make a fortune in the NBA, but for like the players like Kadari, you should stay put.
Someone says it's like the NBA where the players have all the power. This is worse than the NBA. NBA, you can sign people to contracts for multiple years.
Just going to say
this is free agency every year. There is the schools have no leverage in this at all.
Right. You can hold a coach's feet to the fire after, 4 months being on campus. That doesn't work like that necessarily in the NBA. Jake in Ithaca is up next. Hey, Jake.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I just want to take you down a trip down memory lane to a freshman class in 2001 that had 6 players coming in. Part of that was Josh Pace, Craig Forth, Billy Elam. The 6th scholarship we kind of threw away on a project. His freshman year, 2/3 of the way through the year, he's a starter. Following season's 15.7 rebounds. By his senior year, Big East Player of the Year. You might have heard of him. His name's Kim Warwick. My point is, back then we developed players. Name one player in this roster that's improved at all. And my point about NIL is you can have trillions of dollars, but if you're not teaching players how to get better, what's it really worth?
You just also pointed out, I'm not arguing with you, but you just pointed out it took 4 years to get Hack better. Well, and he was good his freshman year. They went to the NIT, right?
The other thing I would say about that is that guys don't, you say, why haven't they developed players? Players have to want to be developed as well and stay put, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays you get guys who come in, they're not getting the playing time they want or whatever the case may be. Like, to his point, I mean, I don't want to speak specifically to Hakeem. I don't know if he would have stayed or not, but we've had plenty of guys on, and we've asked them, like, Atan, would you have stuck it out? He said, I'll be honest with you, even though the rules were the rules back then, I was thinking about leaving.
Hakeem was he a project? Yeah, but he was, and the Providence wanted him, like,
Right.
If he wouldn't have been here, if, what's his face?
Julius Hodge went to NC State.
Yeah,
right.
so.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously worked out well. I think that it's not really fair to bring that up in the
I think
the
Lucas
current
Taylor's
landscape.
gotten better as this season's gone along. I think Eddie Lampkin's made great improvement.
It raises a bigger issue, though, of you just don't like those things are the exceptions to the rule. Like the fact that Clemson has 3 guys in their starting lineup that came up through from freshmen and they've developed like. The reason that announcers bring that up on the games is because you don't see that anymore.
Yeah, well, and Louisville they were lower level,
right?
But they brought in 2 starters from the coach's system.
Right. It just doesn't happen anymore, and it's not a Syracuse thing. It's an every place thing.
I would
right?
say Kyle Cuff has improved this season.
I think his point more so, though, was, freshman year, you see him 3 years later, and they develop into...
Well, he said who on this team has gotten better.
Right, but I'm saying we don't have the benefit other than
that's what I said.
Like Chris Bell, yes, he's been here 3 years, but
Chris Bell has regressed.
Yes. But I'm saying he's really the one example that you can point to of a guy who's been here a significant amount of time. But again, JJ's in his 2nd year.
He's gotten better.
He has. Right. I'm saying that I think his point was over the course of his career here, has he gotten better?
I took it as he doesn't think this coaching staff is developing players.
he did that. That's how I took it as well. But I'm saying that he's bringing up a situation where they got a guy who was a freshman, and look at what he turned into by his senior year. And what I'm saying is you don't see that now.
It's never going to happen again.
So that is my. I feel like you're arguing with me. We're saying the same thing. Scooter in Jamesville up next. Scooter, what's up?
Listen, Steve, we got to get Syracuse back on the bubble because that's Paulie's happy place. I don't think if we turn on the food channel, they're talking about spotted dick today. I just don't think they are.
You know what my happy place would be right now anywhere but here. It could stop snowing anytime.
Oh, man. Hey, by the way, Johnny Cash, one of my favorite Columbos is Johnny Cash is in it. It's one of my favorite ones. So I didn't realize he was an actor, too, besides singer, but he was real good in that one. Anyway, a couple things. First of all, you guys are talking about how people at the beginning of the season thought maybe the beginning of the season would probably show what we're going to do. Anybody, and including myself, a couple other people knew that probably the only way Syracuse is going to be effective, they're going to have to get 85 points a game because I thought their defense, especially in the early part, in Youngstown State and Lemoyne were getting wide open shots that it looks like if they're going to win, they're going to outscore them. And at least, from that standpoint, it came to fruition. The thing I wanted to ask about is now the dowries. Okay, you couldn't up until now. The university couldn't use money for I don't even call them student athletes, mercenaries. Can the dowries now be used for this money that now you can get $20-50 million from the college? I mean, they got over billions of dollars, and everybody's got that. All the colleges, can they start using that then?
So the $20 million can be paid directly from the university to the student athletes.
Yeah.
Right. So that's different, and that begins July 1st. Or, that's the assumption anyway.
If it passes.
Right. If it passes. Right. It's got to. It sounds like it's moving in that direction. But that is something that we have not seen to this point, where the university can actually directly revenue share with the student athletes. Why are you laughing?
No, someone just in the chat said Scooter is already on hold for Brian's show. That made me laugh. I laughed.
All right.
Sorry, I found something funny.
Speaking of being on hold, we don't want to keep our guest waiting. So let's take a time out here.
I got one more thing.
Okay, yeah.
There's actually a conspiracy theory in the chat, Steve.
What's that?
You remember how I started yesterday's show? I called out the athletic director.
Yes.
Say something. Where have you been, Punxsutawney? Yes. People are now saying I did that on purpose in order to lead into John Wildhat coming out and having a press conference. It was all a setup.
All right. Well done then.
Thank you. I didn't even know I did it.
Whatever works.
That is exactly what happened. Maybe it wasn't a conspiracy theory. Maybe I speak truth to power. And he's like, oh, my God, Paulie is angry. The spotted dick guy is very mad. We need to come out.
Can we stop with the reference? Can we stop?
It's a food, Steve.
I know.
I need to come out and say something. The guy who talks about the song, there's a lot of songs about butts. That guy is very angry right now. I need to come out and clear the air on NIL.
All right, you done?
Yes.
Okay. We'll be joined by Nick Kakemo on the other side from the men's lacrosse team. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Head cheese, is that better? Can I talk about head cheese? The head cheese guy? That was a pre-recorded video, guys. And I knew it was coming. Yep, propaganda radio. Oh, I just got fired. Sorry, guys.
It's like, what? Well, your phone was ringing during the segment. So, yeah.
I get so many scam calls, I don't even know. Yeah, I got fired. They text me.
I just got a text that I owe an unpaid bill for Easy Pass.
You know what one I've been getting a lot lately? My package.
Is that delivered? It has not been delivered?
Yeah, it's stuck, and it's stuck in the whatever the
UPS?
No. Why can't I think of it? My brain is frozen. Like, my God, I'm having a stroke. What is it when you cross countries? It's
at the border.
Not at the border, at customs. My package is stuck in customs, and I need to free it. I get that one a lot. Oh, my God, that was scary.
Nick, I am sorry to keep you waiting. It's this guy's fault.
I already profusely apologized.
A courtroom is that place you got to be prepared to
What
show
would
up
you...
at.
Steve just believed I got fired. I got up and started walking out.
Well, his phone was ringing during the segment. Yeah, what?
They don't want to.
First of all, I'm sorry. This is like a legitimate question, and you just have to accept it. What would you rather talk about or less rather talk about? Spotted dick, which is a dessert, or like something with like a Rocky Mountain oysters type name, which is actually like worse, but the name is better.
Those 3 words, the big bad insurance company.
And you have to
head cheese.
I was going to say, I don't want
to. Would you like to talk about head
it's
cheese?
this or that. Remember, we used to play this or that. You couldn't just be like, I don't want to talk about either of these things. You had to pick this or that.
Neither.
My spotted dick is caught in customs, according to Brian.
I would try that if you brought it.
I would too. It sounds good.
If we called it Spotted Rick, would it make you feel better? Spotted Rich?
Cream covered pie.
That doesn't sound good.
Would you like to eat that, Steve?
That was really close. That was really... I'm so sorry, John and Nick. Like, I'm sorry. They can hear you. You know that, right?
Oh,
they can
sorry.
Hear you.
Oh, I apologize.
They can hear you.
I didn't name the food spotted dick, Steve. Take it up with the British.
Make a splash in your career? Apply today at Liverpool Pool and Spa. They're expanding and hiring seasonal and full-time associates, service techs, and installers for the upcoming pool and spa season.
If you have a passion for turning outdoor spaces into havens of relaxation,
Let's hope they find their Kyle McCord.
wants you on our team. Competitive wages, future training opportunities for career growth.
A cannoli. Oh, I love. Do you like cannolis? No, you won't, because it's cheese, right? Yeah, you're the worst.
.com/careers. And remember, don't just dream it, live it. The St. Patrick's Day Parade.
I am less confident after yesterday's article that I think Syracuse is in a world of hurt. Oh, that Elvis Presley cheesecake was really good.
So come raise a pint with us at Shaughnessy's Irish Pub. $15 admission gets you hot food favorites.
81 North is closed. Thank you for the traffic update. Why? From where?
Visit Marriott Syracuse Downtown's Facebook page for more information.
Boston? Boston's a good one. Ready to do your interview? You all right? This is fun for me. It's so much that everybody just telling me I suck at my job.
Watch live on QSportsTalk.com.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. Our artist of the day, Johnny Cash. The Ways of a Woman in Love, Steve. This is such a better time in life.
Simpler times?
Simpler times. When the milkman delivered the milk, the ice box was full, the neighbors spoke to each other. It was a better time.
All right. I don't want to keep our guests waiting any longer.
Now we have social media and everybody's angry.
That is true. Everybody is angry. Nick Kakemo, senior defenseman from the SU men's lacrosse team, joining us now. I do apologize, Nick. My co-host here made us a little bit late for our interview, but how are you today?
I'm doing good. Don't apologize. We got a good listen before what you guys were talking about, so I'm here.
All right, let's talk about the start to this season now. 4 games in, you started 3-0. And then you went on the road for the first time and played your toughest opponent of the year in Maryland. And, it was a close game up until the very end. They ended up coming out on top. What do you feel like as a team you guys learned about yourselves, I guess, from that game against the Terps?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good test. We kind of knew going in that was going to be the toughest challenge of the season up to that point. And, they're a great program. Coach Tillman does a great job just, running a very structured, disciplined unit. And I think that was an early season test that we really needed to kind of, grow off of, like you said. We got to dig in a little deeper, grow as a unit. But overall, I mean, it was definitely a learning curve that we needed to have. And I think a lot of the guys took a lot from that. and are definitely carrying it over, not just to this next game, but the rest of the games for the rest of the year.
Coming into the season, Nick, I don't think there were really any questions about your offense. You had so much offensive firepower returning from last year's team. And I think there were some questions on defense, especially the fact that you have a new goalie this year. As a unit, through 4 games, how would you kind of assess your overall performance? And do you feel like you guys collectively have answered some of those questions, heading into this new year?
Yeah, I mean, I think every game is going to be a new challenge, and we're going to have to step up every single game, right? Just because the first 4 games, technically went well defensively. We're not satisfied with that. We know the season has its highs and has its lows. So, we're just taking that good start defensively and kind of trying to build off of it. We weren't perfect at all. And we acknowledge that. Coach O acknowledged that. But we've just been looking to improve and kind of just find our weaknesses, find our strengths, and just improve both of those. But overall, I mean, the last 4 years I've been here, this was definitely our best defensive start, and that's something we're proud of. But we're not going to get complacent with that. We're going to keep improving.
You mentioned you're in your 4th year here at Syracuse. Started your career at Yale, and that was the COVID year. Didn't end up having a lacrosse season. What made you want to come to Syracuse? What was it about this program, this university that led you here after that 1 year at Yale?
I'm a New Yorker, a Long Island guy to be specific. But I've been a lifelong Syracuse fan. My uncle went here. My dad went to Geneseo, so he always ended up coming to the Dome and whatnot, cheering on guys like Derek Coleman and all that for basketball. So, I've been a Cuse fan for as long as I can remember. Specifically, that 2009 national championship year was when I really became like a diehard fan. So, when that opportunity came, when I hit the portal, there was really no other option for me. I wanted Syracuse, and I didn't want anything else.
So what's this experience been like for you? Now in your 4th year, and did it live up to the expectations for you? Would you do it all over again?
Yeah, I would do it all over again. No questions asked. There's definitely been highs and lows. As my first year didn't go as I thought. We didn't have much success, but since then we've grown every single year, and we've improved and we've gotten better. In the process, you're growing with your friends, your teammates, you're building relationships that last forever. And I know that's a small part of it, but it really does, have a lasting impact on you. But, in terms of lacrosse, the fact that we've gotten better each year kind of fires me up, because we're just following that philosophy of getting 1% better every day. And over time, it adds up. So, this is being the last year. My goal is to, have this team improve further than we did last year. I think a lot of guys felt that we didn't fulfill our expectations last year, and that taste of that Denver quarterfinal game hasn't left any of our mouths. We're still hungry, and being my last year, there's nothing else I personally want, and this team wants than a national championship.
And along those lines, I was going to ask you about the build, right? The journey over the course of these last 4 years, and you guys have progressively gotten better, to this point where there are Final Four national championship expectations, as you just laid out right there. What is different about this particular team, Nick? That have you noticed, I guess, anything different about this team from the other 3 that you've been on here at Syracuse?
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten better every year, and but learn more every season. But I think this year specifically, we have a lot of guys that are seniors and 5th years that have seen the highs and have seen the lows. So we kind of know what it looks like when things aren't going well, and also what it looks like when things are going well. And being able to take those last 3 years of experience and knowing what works for our program and what doesn't. We've done a good job of, not riding the highs and lows and the emotional roller coaster of the season, and really just taking it one game at a time. And, really from that philosophy, taking it one practice at a time. And, you can't win on Saturday if you don't win on Monday, is our favorite saying. But it's true. I mean, you realize that the best teams, the teams that win the most consistently, are always the guys that, show up every day and actually, have intent to get better on that day, and, don't just coast through practice or, take it easy during a week of practice because there's a quote unquote easier opponent. We realize that, any team could beat any team at any given moment. So we really try to have our best preparation each week to make sure that we don't let that happen.
We had Coach O'Dearna on recently. He's one of our favorite guests.
Oh, yeah.
We love having him on. What's it like playing for him? Can you give us some insight into kind of maybe what you've learned from him on or off the field, and what it's like playing for him?
Yeah, Coach O is the man. Fellow Long Island guy also, so we definitely have a deep connection there. He's actually from 10 minutes from my hometown. But he's just awesome. I mean, he knows the game so well. He's got a counter for every single offensive attack, and what they're going to throw at us. He studies tape, nonstop. And my favorite part about him is he's able to simplify the game. He's not throwing 100 different things at us and making us have to memorize 100 different terms. He's black and white. But at the same time, like he inspires his players. He pushes you, but he instills confidence in you. And I think that's been why he's doing such a good job of, building relationships with our guys and coming in and only in his, second year. Our defense has been off to a great start, had a good season last year. And I think that speaks a lot to, his philosophy and the way he goes about his business for sure.
You guys have a difficult stretch coming up here. You play one of the most difficult schedules in the country, so it's not surprising you got a tough stretch coming up. But 15th ranked Harvard inside the Dome on Saturday. Then you make that long trip out to Utah. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Hopkins, one of the best teams in the country, coming here on March 9th. Can you speak to, I guess, this stretch coming up? And, it's always been Coach Gates' philosophy, even when he was coaching the women's team, to play the best. In conference, out of conference, didn't matter anywhere, anytime. Do you like that philosophy where, you guys challenge yourselves week in and week out?
100%. I think everybody's on board with it. The Block S has always had a target on its back. And, we know that everybody wants to beat us, and, it's their Super Bowl when they come to the Dome. And, we do a good job of embracing that and, realizing that we have to put our best foot forward, because the second we don't, there's going to be someone that's, hungry to really, take it to us. And I think we take that a little personal, that, everybody wants to beat the brakes off us, and, it inspires us to realize that if we don't get better, someone's going to come and jump on us when we play them. So, this Saturday is a big test. This team's a very good, skilled, athletic team. And, the rest of the stretch, the rest of the season, like you said, it's not going to be easy. But at the same time, if we want to go where we think we'll be able to go, that's the route we need to take. And we all understand that. And, we're willing to, battle through the highs and lows that might come throughout the season. But, it just, like I said before, I said it several times, it just starts with, every single day, making sure you're getting better and making sure you're preparing yourself for, when those tough stretch of games come.
Very well said, Nick. And it does seem like you guys are laser focused on the task at hand and the ultimate goal. Best of luck this weekend against Harvard. It was a pleasure catching up with you today, and best of luck throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, Nick Kakemo, senior defenseman for the SU men's lacrosse team. Paulie.
Steve, going to do a quick tease here.
Okay.
All right. I have proof that you can have 3 or 4 losing seasons and come back and win. Syracuse is about to do that. And I want everybody to stick around and find out how and why.
You've got the fix?
Yes. Syracuse is about to come back after a 3-year losing streak.
I'm intrigued. You figured that out during my interview with Nick Kakemo?
Yeah.
It just dawned on you?
Yeah.
How they're going to do this? Okay.
It's not even just, it might not be the basketball team.
Oh, okay.
But it could be a roadmap for the basketball
Understood.
team.
All right. We'll take a time out here. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next on ESPN Radio.
Syracuse basketball player.
So that's what you were doing.
Yeah. That's what I was reading up on.
Good use of your time.
Join us every Monday at 11:30 as we break down the Syracuse basketball season. It's our new show, Aton and Devo, on ESPN Radio Syracuse. And don't forget to watch us on QSportsTalk.com. That's live on Twitch and YouTube.
You have questions about Medicare's upcoming annual enrollment period? One Group can help. Backed by years of experience, our Medicare insurance advisors are here to guide you through your coverage options and plan changes for 2025. Visit OneGroup.com or call One Group today at 315-457-1830. That's 457-1830. When you think Medicare, think One Group. We do not offer every plan in your area. Any information we do provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact
So, I'm the youngest in my family, Steve. And one of my brothers just retired, and he's probably the brother I'm closest to. We talk the most. He's been retired for 2 weeks. He will not leave me alone. Like he's got to go back to work.
How old is he?
62. He's just texting me all day. Yeah. Sending me pictures of his dog. He's opening baseball cards. And he's like, why aren't you responding? I'm at work. Like, I'm on the air. Like, leave me alone.
We should have him on. Give him something to do. 12:45 or 1:45.
What explains a lot that I'm the youngest in my family of 8 kids, 7 boys. And I was tortured. Get my brother on Bridge Street. You still got Paul over there?
I don't know that. I was just gonna say I don't know that anybody cares about what I think anymore. But
And yesterday he was sending me tons of pictures of his like yard and stuff. And I'm like, I'm driving in a snowstorm, and I keep getting. Your brother Matthew sent you a picture of a dog peeking over the top of a couch. I was like, when did that start? Have you gotten those?
what?
Where your Siri will explain what the picture is?
Not the picture. She'll read me the text, but no.
So it sends me like, your brother sent you a picture of a flower that is yellow. Like, I'm like, when did it start doing
Does
that?
your phone talks like Jerry Seinfeld?
No, it's a woman's voice, Steve.
Why does she talk like this?
Oh, I wasn't the biggest troublemaker, but I was a horrible kid. I was spoiled rotten. Not Steve spoiled, where if I asked for a half birthday gift, my parents would have given it to me. I would have gotten slapped in the head. But I was spoiled. I was from probably 5 to 17, I think, in San Diego. I did not have a nanny. I was a latchkey kid. Very Gen X, very latchkey.
ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch your favorite
On Q Sports Talk.
I'm Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. The Folsom Prison Blues, Steve. Live at Folsom Prison.
Live version.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a live version today. If we get a repeat artist, would the live version. You know, Steve, there's hope for Syracuse. You can come back, Steve, if you've had 3 or 4 or 5 consecutive bad seasons. Syracuse last year only had 34 inches of snow, Stephen. This year at 97.4, they are leading the Golden Snowball competition. And it's not even close.
I was going to say, I don't think it's close, yeah.
97. Rochester's the next closest at 76.
Blowout.
Yeah.
They can kneel down and win.
Buffalo's been kicking our ass lately. You went to that football game in that.
I did.
Yeah, so Buffalo's at a measly 68 inches.
No chance. It's over.
Syracuse is in second place nationally behind Erie, Pennsylvania this year. But it's close. We could catch them if we try hard. You know, if you got to go for it. You got to dive for loose balls. You got to go for it. None of this dusting stuff. You got Erie is currently at 102.8 inches as of Tuesday. So So there's hope. I would rather not have the golden snowball, though.
I don't think anybody would want it.
I'd prefer March Madness, but we got
settle.
We got something to cling on to. The golden snowball.
I'm glad you were making good use of your time during that interview.
Yeah, I gotta get a 45 segment. This winter's been a son of a gun, huh?
It has. Cold like every day. Snow on the road.
It just won't
every day.
stop
It won't.
snowing. Just stop.
Yeah. And the cold, too. Like, it's just, every time you walk outside,
Nobody listens
it's
to
cold.
me. Stop making dumb passes. They don't do it.
Yeah.
Stop snowing. It doesn't happen. Nobody listens to me.
All right. Well done.
You got to go get it.
I was going to say,
if you want the golden snow, you got to go get it. You guys got to, everybody, we just all got to go.
We want it more.
Yeah, we want it. Like we want the national one. So let's go. It's time to kick Erie's ass. And we got to just suck it up and let the snow come and beat us down.
You want to tell us about the cavalcade of cars? Cavalcade of cars?
Yes, Steve, I do. It's not in the horticulture.
It's not. No.
It's in the Center of Progress building at the New York State Fairgrounds. You can go to cavalcadeofcarscny.com. Don't ask me to spell that because I can't. I've never been in a cavalcade before. But there's a lot going on. There's a pinup contest with the ladies.
Thank you.
Not chicks.
Thank you.
And all sorts of stuff. Lowriders. So, there you go.
All right. We have successfully made it through hour number one. We're going to take a timeout. We've got the match game coming up.
What's
We've got
harder
today's
to say?
business.
Someone in the chat wants to know. Horticulture or cavalcade?
I think they're a tie.
All right.
Don't say them fast because you have no chance. Tatum White from the SU women's hockey team comes up at 1:30. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
You want to do match game over just the nonsense we're going to, just our personal life? So we're going to do over under minutes. Paulie watches TikTok videos of dogs. That would be funny if we did a match game for just what we're going to. French fries eaten, because I'm going to eat a lot of French fries this weekend. Minutes watching hockey or lacrosse. 0. Oh, there'll be a ton of Rubby Roos given. This weekend I picked Indy up this morning, and I said, it's just me and you this weekend, kid. It's going to be fun. So there'll be a lot of Rubby Roos. I said, when I come home, it's just you and me for the weekend, dog. I talked to my dog. I will probably, it'll be a constant Rubby Roo. No dry rubs. Yeah, Indy's got a low undercarriage, so it touches the snow. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like the golden snowball. Maybe Indy and I will watch Indiana Jones movies this weekend. I haven't done that in a while. That would be a good weekend. I just put some food in the crock pot and watch Indiana Jones movies. Who's Q Sports Knower? Should I know that person? I wish they watched too. I wish everybody watched this show. What are you going to do with your weekend off, Steve? Because you don't have pets, right?
No, but I did visit my sister recently, and she's got 2 dogs, and one of them is like out of control. So it's
San Diego
possible that
Cuse's Beagle likes watching wrestling. Indy loves baseball. Like if I turn a Padres game on, she'll sit and watch it. If I turn the Steelers or Sixers on, she goes in the other room.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. I don't mind Dial of Destiny. I don't mind any of the Indiana Jones movies. I like them. I watched the TV shows too with the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Hey, San Diego Cuse, I think they're going to trade Suarez, by the way, and I think they're going to get something pretty good in return. My dog's named after Indiana Jones. How you feeling about the Golden Snowball? That's kind of a weird name, too.
I've heard you talking about it. I don't know what it is.
Most snow for a city in New York. We used to win it on the regular.
It doesn't make me miserable or anything.
This is Johnny Cash's biggest Billboard hit. Did you know that? A Boy Named Sue.
I would have guessed
Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire.
Or I Walk the Line.
Both of those.
No, not true.
But the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue.
And now we have a boy named Jordan in the studio with us.
Jordan, what's up?
Jordan tricked me today.
How's that?
I have his name spelled wrong in my phone, his last name. And I sent him a text, and he was looking over my shoulder as I sent him the text, and he goes, "You sent that to the wrong person." And I believed him. And I was like, "Oh, my God, who'd I send that to?" It wasn't like anything bad, but it was almost like when I told you I got fired and started walking out of the studio.
I mean, I didn't believe you, but I was like, wait, what just happened? Again, your phone was ringing in front of me, and I didn't recognize the number, so
no, my car warranty's down. That's all that was.
Gotcha.
Jordan, how are you?
Living the dream, friends.
I should probably look at
How
this.
are you guys doing?
I should probably look at this.
Match.
Or just
match
listen during the show.
Oh, the match game.
I teased it in the last segment.
I thought personal life match game would be more fun than the lacrosse match game, but let's go. How many inches of snow are we going to get this weekend?
I don't know. We can throw that in there if you want. I don't really care to go back and check how much snow we had over the weekend, but...
All right, what do you got for us, Jordan?
Well, we'll start pretty basic. I'm gonna lay out the table for you first, because we got to get creative here with the one basketball game before the next match game. So we're also gonna have the men's lacrosse game against Harvard, and then just for knowledge, women's lacrosse has a couple games before the next match game, and so does women's basketball. So 6 total games. Ranked opponents for both women's teams, by the way. Harvard's also ranked, but they just lost to Colgate, so
somebody needs to be fired.
Not as big of a deal. Let's just start here. Let's just make this really easy. What's the spread going to be for the Syracuse North Carolina State game in the Dome? Like, what's it going to be?
Cuse is going to be favored by 2.
I'm going to go 4.5.
Is that for Syracuse?
Yeah.
I'm going to go NC State favored by 1, personally.
They have not won a road game all year, have they?
I don't care.
You don't care. All right.
I mean...
He gave his answer, Steve. Why do you have to fight him on everything? You're just...
I'm not fighting. I was just...
You're a nag.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
You're aware Syracuse is bad, right?
No, I am.
NC State is, too.
I think NC State's worse, but okay.
I guess we'll find out. So with that in mind...
I feel like you have some inside knowledge or something. Did you?
No, I have
the way you said that.
I have no inside knowledge of a spread that is going to be released.
No, but there's ways to predict, like different websites and whatnot.
No, Steve, you're projecting right now.
What does Ken Palm have it at, Steve?
I don't know. I could look.
I don't believe that.
See if he cheated.
What about the actual results of the game? Let's get to that while Steve's looking at the spread.
I will call up Ken Palm while we're doing this.
I haven't picked Hughes to win in a long time, but I think I'm going to pick him to win by 7.
Oh, okay.
I actually like that. I'll go Cuse by 5.
I'm going NC State by 5. What total will there be more of? And so let me start with this. Last week on the match game, we were all just certain that Eddie Lampkin's rebounds was going to be way more than his points.
Yeah.
And then he went and scored, 26, 23 against North Carolina?
Yeah, it didn't work out the way we thought.
So I will ask you this, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but what will there be more of? Eddie Lampkin points and rebounds or J.J. Starling points in the NC State game? In fact, I'll give you J.J. points and assists to sweeten the pot.
It didn't sweeten it much. If it was assist turnovers, that might.
You're a jerk.
It's got Ken Palm's got SU by 2.
Yeah, well, Ken Palm
can palm this, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's got SU going 2-2 down the stretch. Beat NC State and Virginia. Lose to Vodtech by 1. Lose to SMU by 14.
Whoa.
I might just be discouraged from Eddie's foul trouble in the Pitt game, but I'm picking JJ with this one. I think JJ can get to 25 points, get up around 30, and then
their strength is their guards. I'll take Eddie.
I'm taking Eddie as well.
You guys are just disagreeing with me. We'll move around a little bit. For lacrosse last week, the one of note, we picked Joey Spleener of the field for most points. We had a tie. Everybody got the point because Eric Spanos, who was the prior conference offensive player of the week for Maryland, also got 4 points in that loss. So before we move on, I wanted to give you that. Who will have more wins? Women's lacrosse, who has 2 games coming up before our next match game, or the other teams? Yeah. So it's 2 versus 4. But women's basketball, they're going to have some tough games.
They got Duke.
They got Duke. They also have Pittsburgh. Men's lax against Harvard. Again, they just lost to Colgate. They're still ranked. And then Syracuse men's basketball. UNC is good for women's lacrosse, though. So
I'm going to go.
Watch out there.
Yeah,
I'm going to go field.
I'm going field as well. I think Syracuse women basketball should beat Pittsburgh. I think the men should beat NC State. And, the SU men's lacrosse wins as well. That's 3.
I'm going women's lacrosse.
Okay. I think you're trying to make up ground is what you're doing.
I think
so
the negativity
here's what happens.
Is getting to him.
Every time I agree with you guys just to match so we can hear the stupid sound effect, you guys are completely wrong and I lose points. If I didn't ever do that, I'd probably be close to tied with you. Every time I'm grading this, I'm like, why did I agree with these guys? So I need to make up some ground here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I was going to bring up the score. You make it sound like we don't know anything, where one of us is way behind, and it's not me and Paulie.
I just told you why.
That doesn't make any sense. That when you agree with us, you're wrong. Okay. Anyway, we'll see how this we'll see how this works out.
Nothing makes sense.
No.
I've discovered that in life.
I'm not going to listen to the guy who lost the picks this year.
If you always agreed with us, you would be up where we are. That was my point. Anyway, carry on.
Congratulations, Steve. You've got a 9-point lead in the match game.
Thank you.
You've gotten 78 right over the 5 months we've been doing this. Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo.
What else you got?
Everybody's so moody.
I know, right?
I hate this. I just want this basketball to be done and this all to be over, to be honest.
If it was over, we wouldn't have a job.
That's okay. We're just going to get to the end here. There's too much animosity. It's totally not because I forgot about this until 3 minutes ago. So we'll do 2 that we normally do and call it a day. What will the announced attendance be for Syracuse NC State?
15,755.
It was 22K for UNC, by the way. Did you say 15,725?
Yes.
It's weeknight. It's NC State. It's not North Carolina. I'm going to say 16-5.
I'm going to see if I can snuff out a pattern here, okay? This is going to sound like a ridiculous guess, but I think it's going to be close, the announced attendance. Give me 20K. I'm going to take 20K just to play a game here.
Jen B says she loves it when you're spicy, Jordan.
I'm glad. And finally,
you're as spicy as flour.
I might disagree with you guys here. We'll see. Will Adrian Autry be fired before the next time we play the match game?
No.
If we're playing it in the next calendar year, then no.
Okay. I had a change of heart. I'm going to go with no. That's all I got. I'll come up with more prompts next week.
Hey, it's okay.
I forgot this was a thing until 3 minutes ago.
No, it's okay. We're all beaten down.
We did get to Card Sharks, though, so you did your job.
That's the plan. Yeah. We just bicker for Card Sharks. Like,
we're all beaten down by this basketball season.
They got to play the match game theme at the Dome.
Do you feel like if they were winning and we were getting, like, everybody was happy, we would be in a different place, or is it the weather?
Yeah, I would absolutely have will to live if they weren't guaranteed to go under 500. 1,000,000%. Does that make me the people that... Sorry, Steve. Does that make me the people you criticize? That this is impacting my mood? Because this is miserable.
It is miserable. It is impacting... But it impacts your mood in a different way because you sit and, like, just hear it. And you open your... You make a post on social media and you get bombarded.
Would it be worse if I was like, golly gee, guys, aren't you excited for this game against North Carolina State? Real barn burner of a matchup.
Do you know what I just thought of?
What?
I used to do this every year before the season started, and I haven't done it in like 3 years. I would look where the NCAA tournament was going to be, so that I could plan if I could actually drive to the games. And I didn't even look this year.
Yeah, that's like deleting the email of the conference championship game for football.
Like it didn't even. It just hit me. What? Do you know where the?
I know New York is one of the.
Do you know where
New York
the
one of the
first round
sites
of
this year?
United States of America.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Woo!
But like, do you know where the tournament sites are?
I don't.
I haven't looked this year.
Match game. Quick, guess one first round tournament site.
We know Dayton, right?
Yeah, I'll rattle through them. Lexington, Providence, Wichita, Denver, Seattle, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Raleigh.
Yeah, I probably should have been able to name one of those cities. Instead, I had Omaha, Nebraska.
All right, let me ask you something.
I was wrong. There is no New York. I thought New York was this year. I guess not.
Newark has a regional.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. I've never been to the NCAA tournament as a fan. Would you go to like Providence to watch a game?
Would I actively drive to Providence right now to go watch a game?
Well, you'd have to wait in Providence a really long time.
You know what I mean?
No, but yeah, like
you're saying this year.
Would you want to go like?
I mean, I love the NCAA tournament.
Would you go as a fan to watch the NCAA tournament?
If it were like in Syracuse, well, I'd have to cover it if it were in Syracuse. I would not actively drive 5
But you
hours.
don't get that opportunity.
Are you saying right now, like, do you want to go to the NCAA tournament?
I'm asking you guys if you guys want to go.
No,
I'm going to be honest. That kind of sounds fun because when you go, it's like you pay for the day, right? So if there's multiple games, you could.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that sounds cool. I've never been to anything like that.
We could just sit and get bombed in the studio in the.
You're not getting bombed.
Oh, I will. I'm going as a fan. I'm going to drink beers to my face, Steve.
I don't know if last time I did that, I cleaned up your house at 3 a.m.
Would you want to do it? Like, I think I might want to do it this year. Because I'm hoping I don't get the opportunity again.
I say no 9 out of 10 times to this sort of like improv, Pauly, let's do something thing. But like, this sounds cool. And by this sounds cool, I mean, I don't have to plan.
Someone asked a great question.
Show.
What if Duke was there?
LOL. No, that wouldn't matter. But here's the thing. So having covered, and you've covered many an NCAA tournament as well. When you're at one site, you are isolated in a lot of ways from everything else that's going on. They'll show like a highlight or two on the big screen, but like it's almost like especially when you're covering the team and you're just like focused on them. It's like, oh, like that 15 beat that 2, like, and you have no, like, it's almost like you have no idea. Like all of that stuff is going on other than whatever's at your site.
Who cares?
Well, part of the allure of the tournament is like that. Those first 2 days when
would
there's
you
just
have
games
said
all
this
day.
4 to 5 years ago?
Look,
what do you mean?
Go to the
well,
games.
just I don't know. Like, is there any reason that now you're you'd rather, know what's happening in every single game during March Madness as opposed to being focused on.
No, I'm saying even when I covered the team back then, I would feel like
you can watch on your phone.
Feel like I would have no idea what was going on. Like I would see the scores or I'd see who advanced, but like I felt like I was missing everything because I was hyper focused on one.
Steve just wants to live bet on Oakland. Is what's happening right now.
Just enjoy it.
Okay. That's. I'm just saying, like part of the allure, like of a fan, part of the allure is, man, I get to watch all these games at once.
That's the allure of watching.
Yeah.
From on TV. There's also an allure of going to the actual freaking.
I don't think Steve wants to be seen in public with us at a basketball game.
You said go as a fan. So let's say like Arkansas is playing Creighton. Like that's cool, but like I'm not a fan of like I don't care what happens.
What if we?
You know what I mean?
Do you care if you're watching it on TV?
Well, like you might get invested. Like, oh, that underdog is like.
But what if you get
winning.
A chance to watch something miraculous?
That would be really cool. That would be like if you saw like Virginia lose as a 1 seed.
Yes.
Like that would be really cool. Yes, I would agree with that.
If Duke is in Providence, can we go?
If you guarantee me that we'll see a really good upset, I will go.
What if it was? What if it was a later round? What if we decided to drive to Newark for the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8?
That sounds expensive.
I would like that better than doing it one of the first 2 days.
That sounds more expensive.
Because at that point, again, I don't feel like you're missing out on everything else that's going on.
Because there's less to bet on.
That's not the point. I told you I thought about this years ago. Like
I don't believe you.
All right. Well, I can only tell you my truth, and that is my truth.
I think I might go. I mean, whether you guys go with me or not, I'll go by myself.
That sounds more exciting to me, going to like a regional final.
I just never been as a fan.
Yeah. But Jordan's right. It is more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, going when there are more games, that's easily the value. Oh, but then you got to eat while you're in there. Oh, and I'm going to want to eat a lot of food in there, man. A full day's worth of food. I'll smuggle trail mix in my sock. It's okay.
If I went by myself, I probably wouldn't drink. Someone said Paul getting solo bombed at Providence.
You'd rather drink with me than alone?
Yeah. Drinking alone's. If I'm drinking alone, I let the Q Sports Talk chat and social media get to me. If I'm sitting drinking, watching Kadari Richmond,
that would be such a funny video.
I'm crying in my beer in Providence.
Such good Q Sports Talk
Rick
content.
Pitino's moving on to the Sweet 16. I don't know. I asked you guys this question too. Do you think that with these higher payrolls, all the good players from the lower schools are on the good? Do you think there'll be as many upsets or less?
I think there's still going to be a good deal of upsets.
I don't.
Because as we've seen, the higher payroll doesn't always mean it makes a better team. Like we've seen plenty of examples of that.
Yes, but by the time you get to the tournament, you're
like the fact that there's going to be like 14 SEC teams. Like I could totally see like, a few of those teams fizzling out early.
I mean, Youngstown State almost beat Syracuse, so there's no reason we can't see some upsets.
There's still going to be upsets, I think.
No, because I think the cream of the crop is in the tournament, and they're not going to get beat.
I think football, you will see less upsets in football. Basketball is a different sport.
It
lends
think so
itself
anymore.
to upsets.
I don't think it'll be as numerous.
But NIL's been going on for a while. We saw plenty of upsets last year.
Yeah, but like look, this year's different. The amount that was paid to people, like the rosters are different this year.
I don't know. I think you're always going to see upsets because basketball is the type of game where you could go cold. Football is all about like it's power and athleticism and physicality, and you can get bigger, stronger, faster. Bigger people beat up on little people. That doesn't necessarily happen in basketball.
Those upsets in basketball happened with teams that were like seniors. It was like guys that have been playing together for 4 years at a small school.
Well, look at the guys that. Pat Kelsey brought with him to Louisville. Like those were old guys in a mid-major that, I know they had, in a lot of cases had one more year this year, but, it can be done. I think you're still going to see upsets. I don't think you're ever going to be immune to the upsets in basketball. There's so many good players out there these days.
Guys, I thought of another. I'm adding it.
Okay. Hold, please.
I believe Tim Leonard's on this NC State post game, Tim and Pat have been starting to beef a little bit more. Like it's brewing throughout the season. Give me the length of the Pat post-game phone call. I'm going with 6 minutes and 41 seconds.
There's, as program director of a radio station, there is zero reason a caller should be on the phone for 6 minutes. That's got to stop. But second of all, under 6. And when does Pat realize...
What do you mean it's not over under, dude? Give me a time.
The exact time?
Yeah, I said 6 minutes and 41 seconds. You can't just go under 6.
It should be 2 minutes.
What is that? Give me the under. There is no under. Pick a time.
2 minutes.
I'll go 2:01.
You know what's funny, though? Like,
okay, match game done.
At what point does the person who fights with every host realize it's him and not the hosts? Because if you get every freaking host hates you, going back to day one of radio,
I think hate.
Come on, I was just going to say, come on. I know you're using that term loosely, but...
Okay, dislikes.
No, not even that.
So this is my fault, but...
Hate your takes.
We already made
He
one
called
guest.
you an idiot.
No, I know. I don't hate him, though.
We already made a guest listen to us talk about British desserts and be 7 minutes late. We should probably hit a break. It was
contentious is a good word. Sometimes things get contentious.
But, like, you know how I always say I wanted to give him a show?
Yeah.
The host he uses as an example is the greatest host ever who it was polite to him, was the one that said, I will not work here if you put that idiot on the air with us. Sorry. All right. Stop fighting. Thank you.
Let's take a timeout. We've got today's business coming up next. We've got Tatum White coming up at 1:30 from the women's hockey team.
Am I the most hated host?
I don't know. If you are, you know, wear that as a badge of honor.
I do.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's Steve or do you think it's Brian?
I hate Steve with a passion. I hate Steve with a passion.
I'm sitting right here.
Oh, what?
I can hear you.
Oh.
You're gonna, if you don't want it to be you, you're gonna have to hope one of the Newhouse students has real bad takes.
Back after this on ESPN Radio. All right. I am having like a back spasm right now.
Uh-oh. Steve just
Chandler Parsons said that means you're hungover.
Steve just got hurt being funny. Oh, I cracked a joke in my back.
I don't know that I can sit down.
Pat isn't on the open. He's in the promo.
I didn't make that promo, by the way. Pat was on an open once, and then...
Nobody hates Brian Higgins? I do.
I'm sorry, Steve. Would you make Paulie do an interview, or would you just do it standing up?
By the
Steve's like, I'm out of here.
Brian's he just called you a puss, I think is what he called you. A wuss? Brian's unlistenable. Who says I don't respect the callers? Just because I push back and question their takes. Like, I wanted to ask that guy a question today, and he hung up on me. Like, I asked questions.
Which one? Was it Jake from Ithaca?
The one who brought Hakeem Warwick up is the example. It led to Steve and I fighting because...
I think we were talking to Nick at that point, so I didn't hear much of Chuck or Jake. Man, one day I'm just going to dig into that full bag of Kyle McCord, honey barbecue, sharp cheddar.
I love everybody.
chips.
I do love the chat. If you guys can't take a good ball busting, then I'm sorry.
Oh, those chips are going to taste so good.
If I didn't bust your chops, that means I don't like you.
Hey, now that he's going to the NFL, do any of you guys want to buy a full bag of Kyle McCord
chips,
honey barbecue, sharp cheddar?
Yeah, I'll teach him. I'm stuffy today. I need to blow my nose. I'm going to blow my nose right on camera. Hopefully I don't have a booger. I've been waking up with bloody noses. Dry. Damn weather. I just picked up a paper towel that I don't even know.
Oh,
what was there.
Adrian just made an incredibly clever and nuanced burn.
What?
How are those bruises?
Oh,
on your
I get
knees,
it,
Paul?
because I perform fellatio on people in order to.
That was very, very well done.
I get it.
I would pay to see that stand-up special.
Did you know that, Steve? My knees are bruised because of my takes on Syracuse. Did you get the joke there? It implies that
There's probably like a minute. Probably like a minute,
I
60
prefer
seconds.
male genitalia. Probably a minute and a half. Such a good joke. Homer.com, that's my website. I follow a pig named Homer on TikTok.
Oh.
And he has his own bed, like a twin-size bed, and he gets in it at night.
Wub, 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 wub.
If I was actually doing that in order to get my takes, I would be way more passionate about it.
And way more paid.
Yeah.
I know you make fun of it, but I don't care. Katie had a heating pad.
The callers are gonna lose it.
I don't care.
Oh God!
You literally did nothing.
It's like,
did you shovel your driveway?
This guy he's undisciplined. He has to wear a back brace.
I can't.
I'm sorry you're going through it.
How did you end up with a 90-year-old body?
I don't know.
Like, you literally are a 90-year-old man in a 48-year-old's body. We're just going to take a quick timeout. Award-winning segment incoming.
We have to at least mention today's business. Let's play one word. We're gonna play one word. So you give me one word.
We'll get to today's business in the last segment.
We don't have time.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. We got to take a quick break here to get back on time. I walked the line, Johnny Cash. This would be today's business, brought to you by who?
Grosswood State of Moore CPAs.
And the website, Jordan.
GSACPAs.com.
We've got to take care of business right now on ESPN Radio Syracuse. You want me to walk on your back? Call 911. You all right? Do you need the rest of the show off?
What?
Do you need to take the rest?
No, I just need to get comfortable.
You need one of those heating pads at the... How the hell did you hurt
I
yourself?
don't know. I just all of a sudden, it was just all of a sudden I had a back spasm.
You're like Larry Bird.
It like locked up. I can't make it stop. I'm really uncomfortable.
Do you see a chiropractor?
I did. I had a bad experience. with
Yeah,
it.
I don't like those. I don't trust them.
What's that? I told you the story.
Yeah, I know. I don't trust chiropractors.
Yeah.
I do watch them on TikTok, though.
Found a cute dog.
Lay on your back and do a bicycle kick.
His name is the last thing that I ate. His name is Bread.
Bread's a solid dog name.
Paulie's takes of crippled Steve.
Don't forget to ask for the orange deal. I'm Terry. I'm Tony. Here at Mannion and Copani, we get two kinds
Call the SOS dudes.
This woman called. She had a question about how many years in advance she had to do pre-Medicaid planning. I told her.
This would be a good week to have an SOS house.
I told her that yes. I'm
A good week, I mean,
your plan has
to
to
have
be
it
in
as
place
the
5 years
last
before you
segment of our Friday.
Florida guy, I ended up in a hospital one time just bending down to pick up a golf ball. Is that helping at all?
Not really. I mean, it feels good, but it's like It's like my back is like locked up.
Touch your toes. That's what it'll stretch it out. I get it. I tell Autry to touch his toes too, because yes, that's also a joke about sexuality. I get it. I get it. You're a one-trick pony. Legs, hips, distance apart, squat, and drop your butt. Somebody wants to see you twerk. Apparently, he's doing it. He's doing it.
Having a back issue.
It's all good. I want to ask questions.
Steve's making the ladies in the office uncomfortable with this. He's dropping it. Somebody give him the Heimlich. My neck, my back. I'm sorry, Steve.
Just stop.
I'm sorry. Like, if I saw something happen that made it happen, I would be like, oh my God, are you okay? Can you make it another 30 minutes?
I think so.
He's not doing jumping jacks. Dare you? You know what's funny is like half the chat is sympathetic and the other half is just brutal.
Yeah.
So don't look at it.
It's okay.
I won't even mention it to the radio folks.
So nice of you. So kind.
Do you want ibuprofen or anything?
Katie's got some. Katie has some. I may take some when I leave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. Our artist of the day, Johnny Cash. This is a cover of Hurt, Steve. This is a more modern song.
I hurt myself.
I don't know that I've
it's
heard
a banger. It's a good one.
Heard this version.
See if I still feel.
Okay. All right. Let's go to our guest line. If you happen to be watching us on QSportsTalk.com, you'll see our next guest live and in person. Pleased to be joined by Tatum White, fifth-year forward for the SU women's hockey team. The Orange getting set to host Robert Morris tomorrow, 3 o'clock in the quarterfinals of the conference tournament. Tatum, thanks so much for coming on. How are you today?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great. And your team is playing great. You've won 6 of your last 7. Playing, it seems like anyway, playing your best hockey at the right time of the year. What's been working the last couple of weeks for this team?
Well, that's exactly it. We've kind of found our stride, and we're definitely playing our best hockey right now, right when it matters. So we've just been gelling really well over the season, and it's kind of just gotten better and better. So we're really excited for what's next.
Talk to us a little bit about your journey here, Tatum, if you don't mind. Before coming to Syracuse, you played 3 seasons with the Kingston Junior Ice Wolves in the Professional Women's Hockey League. What brought you to Syracuse? How did you land here?
Yeah, so back then it was actually called the Provincial Women's Hockey League because we were over in Ontario, and now the PWHL, which is the Professional Women's Hockey League, has actually taken that name over. But yeah, I played in my hometown growing up, Kingston, Ontario, all the way through and played 3 years on that team. So that was a great experience. I played with Team Ontario and Team Canada as well. So that was a great couple years. And then I've spent the last 5 here at Syracuse, and it's been nothing but a great experience.
You also spent some time, on the U18 Canada squad. What was that experience like for you, being able to play international hockey at a high level like that?
That was an unreal experience. I was able to go play against Team USA. and Team Russia back then as well. So it was just a really cool experience to meet different players from across the country and play at the highest level at the U18 age group.
What's your experience been like here at Syracuse? Since you've been here, as you look back on your time here to this point, what's it been like for you?
It's been amazing, and I feel like I've been saying this more often now as I get to the end of my 5-year career here, but it really does fly by so fast, and the people have just really made the place for me here. I've met so many great people. I've experienced a coaching change while I've been here, but I've been so lucky to have 2 great different coaching staffs and just learn from so many amazing people in this place. So I've really enjoyed my past half a decade here, and it's going to be sad to see it go, but I'm excited for the next chapter.
You mentioned 5 years here, and I've asked this question to other athletes who are in your shoes on campus, maybe in other sports, but do you find yourself, kind of smelling the roses a little bit this year and like kind of taking in every practice and taking in every game and just trying to maybe enjoy the process a little bit more than maybe you did, 4 years ago?
Absolutely. It really does fly. And one of my coaches, Heather Farrell, she always says, you guys are so lucky, because she also played college hockey back at Ohio State in her time. And she's like, you guys are just so lucky to be here and so lucky to come to the rink every single day. And I've really, really thought about that more often day in and day out this year as I near the end of my career.
You mentioned a moment ago you're excited for the next chapter, whatever's next. What is next? Have you given it some thought, what you plan to do after graduation?
I'm not too sure. I do want to go to med school eventually, so that would be my overall goal. I'm thinking about continuing playing hockey at the next level, wherever that may be, at least next season, and then hopefully heading into my medical career in the future.
All right, big plans ahead. As for what is on the horizon this weekend, as we mentioned, tomorrow you've got Robert Morris at the Kennedy Ice Pavilion, a team you've seen. You've had a lot of success against them this year, 4-0, but it's getting later in the year now, and you certainly can't look past anybody. What can you tell us about Robert Morris and how you guys match up against them?
Definitely. You definitely can't overlook anyone in this conference. It's such a small conference that you can really anyone can beat anybody, and especially at this time of year, this one single elimination game to move on to the next round, it's whoever can put together the best 60 minutes. So we definitely can't overlook them, and we think just kind of our team culture and the bond that we have is really what's going to pull us through this weekend. So we're super excited for the game tomorrow, and we think it'll be a good matchup for sure.
All right, Tatum. Best of luck. We really appreciate you coming on. It was a pleasure chatting with you here today. Good luck tomorrow, and keep this thing going for as long as you can.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Tatum White, 50-year forward on the Syracuse women's hockey team, joining us here on the show again. 3:00 tomorrow against Robert Morris at the Kennedy Ice Pavilion as they look to advance on to the semifinals of the conference tournament.
All right.
Shall we take our final timeout?
Yeah, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll do a little vote. We'll do a little.
We didn't do. We never played the Felicia Leggett Jack soundbite that I sent you.
Yeah, we could do that. We also have today's business and
right.
The Felicia. It's a Friday. Yeah, we can play a little bit of that.
It is if you want to. We don't have to, but
we'll do whatever we want.
We have a couple extra minutes than we normally do, so we could get into that next if you wanted. Time for a phone call or two as well. If you want to check in, 315-437-7644. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
You all right?
I'm not.
You want to take the last segment off? Or? Steve is the Joel Embiid of our radio show. Atan and Eric just did a whole segment on you shouldn't play hurt. Injured. You can play hurt, not injured. Are you hurt or injured? No, he hurt his back prior to the interview. It was horrific. I don't know if you guys saw it where he got tackled by. Do you want me to give you a massage? That won't kill any of the jokes, if you know what I mean. This is Steve's flu game, yes. That was funny. You want me to rub icy hot on it for you? It's unlocking it.
I do actually.
I hate the Yankees. Kind of want to talk about the facial hair thing. Get over yourself. Nobody cares. You don't need to have like a press conference on facial hair.
Did they? I didn't read this. I saw they released a statement. Did they say why?
I'll exactly tell you why next segment, why they did it.
In the statement they said it?
No, I'll tell you why. Because I'm a genius, Steve, and I have hot takes. I will tell you why the Yankees are allowing facial hair in our next radio segment. Remember when Steve was laughing at me getting the camel clutch or the sharpshooter? Yeah. Yeah, no pity.
I appreciate you, Jeff.
Maybe Steve's just playing the long game to call in sick to his new Channel 9 job later on.
No, I can't. And I've got class. I got class today, too.
And he'll be like, look, watch the video. It was
it's my proof.
We can't replay this Twitch on demand because it was so graphic, the injury. It's like Theismann's leg. We can't replay it. You know what? Maybe you should let your wife power wash things. I think I'm on that bus. I get it now. Steve is day to day. At least people have a good sense of humor about your pain. You're his back handing him the shovel to do the
That's funny.
Let's end it with Ring of Fire, if we might.
Love is a burning.
This is a banger.
It is.
Sometimes when I'm at the Dome setting up, it is just me in the Dome. They play this over like the PA system super loud, and it's fun. I like it.
Did you not play Walk the Line?
I did.
You did?
I played Hurt. I played Walk the Line. I did them all.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
You're in pain, Steve.
Focused
You're
on
playing
other
Hurt.
things.
Yes. I get it. You can't concentrate on everything. Couple things happen in the world of sports. The Yankees are allowing groomed facial hair, Steve. That's like big news, and they release statements. And
I saw the headline. I didn't read the statement. Did it say?
I didn't either, but I know exactly why they did it.
Why did they do it?
Because they had a horrible offseason, Steve. They did nothing to improve their roster. So, you know what? Let's everybody look at the shiny new facial hair.
It's an interesting theory.
We just extended probably one of the most disliked, I won't use the word hate anymore, disliked managers in our team's history. Look at our facial hair.
I'm just calling up the statement. I'm just curious what.
Like, get over yourself, too.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Like, you need to release a statement that you're allowing people to grow beards in a free country. Win a World Series. Nobody cares about your facial hair. Right, Yankee fans, right?
Yeah, I don't care about it. And I do think it's like, look at us. We're better than everybody.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not a good look.
No, it's not. And I'm reading the statement right now, and the statement doesn't help matters. In recent weeks, I've spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on our long-standing facial hair and grooming policy. Give me a break.
How about just let grown men grow facial hair?
It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar comfort of our former policy.
They act like they're like making some civil rights
I know,
thing.
right?
Like, get over yourself.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I am a Yankee fan, but this doesn't sit right.
Hey, we just extended Boone, and we lost Juan Soto. But we're growing beards now. Look at us. And who's the arbiter of what a well-groomed beard is? Do they have like a stylist on staff? They're like, oh, okay, let me measure your beard before you go out in cameras today.
After great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniformed personnel to have well-groomed beards.
Who decides what a well-groomed beard is?
He said, ultimately, the final decision rests with me. So there you go. I guess he will be deciding. Hal and Hal alone.
Like, would the Kelsey beard be okay?
You'll have to ask him. I don't know.
What beard is okay? Like, are we going back to the you remember like the thin handlebar, like the Justin Timberlake type beard?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Can you do that?
That seems well groomed to me.
ZZ Top, is that an okay beard?
If you take a brush to it, it's groomed. I don't know.
That's so funny that they're going to have somebody decide what beards are okay now. And they've just made their life. Is someone in the chat says this is the equivalent of college basketball coaches dressing casually, instead of wearing suits.
Man, that happened overnight, didn't it?
COVID did
Yeah,
that.
no, I know.
And I don't know why COVID did it. Like, you don't have to wear suits because there's no fans in the crowd. Like, you're not in front of people.
Yeah, right. They're empty buildings. But you're right. That's when it changed.
You're still on TV.
And a lot of people just never went back. It's interesting. It did. It literally changed overnight.
Oh, I wonder what that pays. That's a good thing. That would be a fun job, just to stand at the door of the locker room as the Yankees are leaving and be like, let me see your beard.
It sounds like a Seinfeld
I got like a
episode.
protractor and a...
Yeah. That'd be a perfect job for George.
I would do that. Get back in there and trim your face. You disgrace to the Yankees.
Groom your face.
The greatest organization ever. You sicken me. Get back in there. Cut 1/8 of an inch off that beard. You know the rules. You know the rules. Can you grow a Raleigh Fingers mustache?
I mean, that seems well groomed.
So many questions, and I don't have the answers. Do you want to hear the one soundbite from Coach Jack?
I mean, we can if you want.
Raised your eyebrows really quick.
The soundbite itself is long. I think Jordan cut it up into 3 sections.
Yeah. So the one on negativity.
That was the part that stood out. Yeah.
It shouldn't be so much negative either. I just never remembered my city being so harsh to their own family members. Red played here. He was a coach here for 100 years. I played here. I did some fun things. I'm from here. And yes, we want to win. Nobody that sits and presses a button that says send could want to win more than me. Nobody in the country. But if we're going to lose a game by the numbers, let's learn some lessons, and we've done that. And we're going to continue to fight, and I pray that this community gets behind us in the masses.
And she brought up Red and the men on her own.
Yeah.
The question was really about the state of the women's program and where things were going. And, that was a portion of a longer soundbite where she talked about, last year and having Deasia Fair. People took her for granted and that they had the success last year, but she felt like maybe the city didn't appreciate it the way they should have. And they're struggling this year without her. And I think last night was another case of, like, last year, anytime the game was on the line, they put the ball in her hands, and she would figure it out. And she was that good that more often than not, she'd make the basket. They lost to the number 9 ranked team in the country last night by 10. It was a close game throughout. They are now 2-8 this season in games decided by 10 points or less. And that is a direct correlation of they desperately miss her.
Yeah. Okay. So the guy who makes all the inappropriate jokes in our chat about me says the product is bad. What do you expect? All these coaches are delusional. It's not delusion. It's just like root for your favorite team. You can be mad. This is 1 year out of 50 or so in the past in the basketball teams. They haven't been to the tournament in a while. I get that. You don't have to be there's ways of doing it without being negative. You can want somebody to get fired and say it and word it in maybe it's time to move on from Red.
Sure.
He doesn't do this. What is said on social media is just abrasive, aggressive. And the guy who's saying this makes completely inappropriate jokes about me. And he doesn't get why there's a way of wording things and being negative.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's feeling it right now. And so, yeah, she kind of went there on her own and brought it up that, she noticed, like everybody notices, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as
Do you
much
think
as you
Red doesn't know that his team stinks?
Right. As much as everybody wants to ignore the outside noise, and they can try to ignore the outside noise, they know what's being said. They know what's going on. And, it's nobody's trying to lose, right? I mean, everybody's trying to get it right.
And these coaches need help in the NIL department as much as people don't want to admit that. And if he loses with NIL, then he'll get fired. So Monday is going to be what, the 24th? Is that the correct date? You don't have to be an a-hole, I guess is the way I would word it. You can have opinions and not like somebody and just say, Syracuse should move on and take the team in a different direction. Coach Red doesn't sub properly, and I disagree with that. Man, did Coach Red do a bad job in building this. You don't have to be an aggressive a-hole and whatnot. Elton John, I don't know why I turned. He got knighted on Monday. You ever been knighted, Steve?
No.
Nor have I. The Eagles. He was born on the 24th. Elton John, the Eagles. Manfred Mann is an option again. And George Thorogood. Let me see if there's anybody that is from at least the past decade.
I was blindsided. I left the room before yesterday, and when I found out you guys didn't vote for Crystal Light or whatever.
Crystal Gale.
Crystal Light is a drink.
Well, when I found out you didn't vote for Crystal, I was devastated. She's one of my favorite packet beverages.
Ooh, Charlie Daniels?
Devil went down to Georgia.
I just said we should get somebody from at least the last decade, and I went with Charlie Daniels. So Charlie Daniels, the Eagles, Elton John.
Can we put Crystal Ball up as an option again?
And Adam Lambert. Let's do Adam Lambert. Is Robin Thicke a thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
No, we don't know. We don't talk about him anymore.
Okay.
No.
So there you go. Just vote. Just say something.
Elton John. I do like.
You have to say it in a British accent because he got knighted. Elton John.
I do like.
Sounds like you have your jaw wired shut. That didn't sound like a British accent.
America wishes.
Manfred Mann. What is that?
He sings "Blinded by the Light." The band does in some other 60s.
No, that's The Weeknd.
I'm gonna go the Eagles. Next vote wins under the Kevin from Liverpool. Please, somebody just vote. Put me a CD.
That's Charlie.
Charlie. That's not one of the options. It's Eagles, Manfred Mann, or
Manfred Mann has
Elton
CDs.
John.
I think they were voting for Manfred Mann.
Still waiting?
Yeah.
Just pick one.
Elton
Crystal.
Elton John won.
Come on.
Mike Antonio says, I recently found out disco was making a comeback. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified.
That's funny.
We may never be able to have crystallization as an option for our artist of the day again.
I believe in Crystal Light because I believe in me. That was their slogan.
That
Steve.
was,
You
you're
remember
right. I do remember that.
Wait, that was a drink slogan?
Yeah.
That
I
is
believe
whack.
in Crystal
That
Light
is way
because
too...
I believe in me.
Yeah, that's whack. Like, you're not that important, Crystal Light.
It's
Times
a
were
diet
so
drink.
simpler back then.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go. Newhouse Afternoons coming
Feel
up
better,
next.
Steve.
Thank you. Cody
Sorry
at 3,
I
Brian
danced
at
in
4.
front of you there to
It's
show
okay.
you how loose my back was.
We'll see everybody on Monday.